Southwick Insurance Agency.
Now let's head over to that game of the week. Agawam 3-8, looking to get back on track after dropping 5 in a row. Unfortunately for the Brownies, like you just saw, facing off against East Longmeadow. First quarter, got 0-0. East Longmeadow's Megan Morneau off the whistle, fakes up and shoots low. It's the first goal of the game. Spartans up 1-0. Later on in the first, East Longmeadow's Megan Morneau doing what she does best, fakes the cameraman out. Then Addie Jordan gets fed, fires it in for her first of the game. Longmeadow's up 2-0. Still in the first, East Longmeadow's Addie Jordan with the ball, little hop and a little pass to Olay Thompson. Thompson finds the back of the net for the Spartans' goal. 3-0 East Longmeadow. On to the second quarter, East Longmeadow's Addie Jordan gets the ball behind the net. Jordan races up, turns, and fires. It's another goal for the Spartans, increases their lead to 4. Still second quarter, East Longmeadow's Olay Thompson comes around from behind for the goal, finds Angelina Truolo. Truolo with the Spartans' goal. East Longmeadow up 5-0. Next Spartan possession, Megan Morneau using her speed and athleticism, fakes the jump shot, then shoots around the corner. Morneau with her second goal of the night, 6-0 Spartans. Later on in the second, Megan Morneau again waiting on the whistle, fakes the shot, quick pass to Olay Thompson, and Thompson using the 5-hole for the score. East Longmeadow up 7-0. Under 3 to go in the half, East Longmeadow's Addie Jordan off the whistle. Jordan picks up goal number 3. Extends the lead to 8-0 Spartans. Near the end of the half, Megan Morneau with the ball again. Long pass to Miana Calabrese, and Calabrese joins in on the scoring party. 9-0 Spartans. Now we got under a minute left in the second quarter. Morneau passes to Kennedy Marino. Marino picks up the top corner. East Longmeadow's 10th goal of the half. East Longmeadow ends up winning in a blowout. Final score in that one, the Spartans 20, Brownies 2.